everyone. So today I am going to be talking about Amber Alerts. Okay. So in the beginning of the 1980s, when children went missing, they were actually placed in the neighboring town's newspapers, and they were placed behind milk cartons with the picture of the child and a description of what they were last wearing. So Amber Alerts stand for America's Missing Broadcasted Emergency Response and then Alerts. And Amber Alerts first originated when a 9-year-old girl named Amber Hagerman went missing in 1998. So the purpose of Amber Alerts is to broadcast an emergency message to the public when a child is missing. And Amber Alerts are usually made by family. So Code Atom is another alert that branches off from the general Amber Alert, and the purpose of the Code Atoms, it primarily focuses on like the stores. So like if a child goes missing in a store, the store then goes in a lockdown, and no one comes in or out of the store until that child is found. So then every employee searches around the premise of the store and finds that missing child. And once the missing child is found, then the Code Atom is cleared. Okay. So now I'm going to be talking about the deterrence theory. So celerity, as defined in this picture, is the swiftness in which criminal sanctions are applied to the commission of a crime. And swiftness primarily focuses on timing. For example, like how long it takes a police officer to find a missing child and how fast that police officer is able to find that missing child. And it also focuses on teamwork, which is where the agencies will work together in a joint effort for a common goal to find that missing child. Okay, so now I am going to be talking about crime control. So stereotypical criminals who praise over abducting children creates a moral panic within a society. Moral panic installs a fear and keeps everyone on edge on edge of the worst situation. For example, when COVID was first introduced, everyone went into a sudden panic because they didn't know what COVID was and they didn't know what the effects were to get COVID, or like if you got COVID. So I remember when COVID was first introduced, me and my family, we went to the store and we got all cleaning supplies, just everything to try to stay safe, canned goods, because we didn't know what was going on afterwards. So now, debunking crime myths. So the misconception of stranger danger and white vans create a false acknowledgement that gets children to believe that they should fear those things for their own safety. But the ones that children should fear the most is the ones closest to them, such as neighbors, friends, and even family. Installing those misconceptions into a child's brain creates of what people call now scary stories. So if a child is misbehaving, then the parent will tell the child if they continue to misbehave, then a stranger will come and snatch them up, because strangers like to snatch up children. And crime control also serves as a dual function, because the combination of fear created by the scary stories increases media attention, and the stereotypical criminal creates a flawed emergency system in which law enforcement takes a longer time in saving a child. So some of the sex trafficking myths is that only women and girls can become victims of sex trafficking, which that is false, because men and boys are also at a high risk of becoming trafficked as well. And another myth is the most common type of trafficking is child abduction. That is also false. As I mentioned before, is that traffickers tend to place themselves in occupations that are closer to children, such as a coach, a teacher, a daycare person, a priest. Anything that gets them to that next step of getting the children's trust, then that's where they're going to be. Okay. So, slavery was abolished around the 1900s, but slavery still exists today, which is now called modern day slavery. Human trafficking victims are called modern day slavery. Human trafficking victims are victims of modern day slavery because these victims are at their most vulnerable, where they will take a too good to be true opportunity, and that will so sex trafficking victims will take too good to be true opportunities that will feel that they'll get helped to live day by day, but end up trusting the wrong person. Victims that are exploited may also develop Stockholm syndrome, whereas a sex trafficked victim fears losing the relationship with their captor, who has helped them physically and financially through thick and thin. The trafficker can also be someone who the victim has learned to love and has learned to grow to accept the fact that the trafficker knows what's best for them, which in reality, traffickers don't know what's best for their victims. They just traffic them. Children in the foster care systems jump from home to home, where they lack the proper love and support they need to succeed out of the system. Children who go missing have been exploited. Children who have been missing that have been exploited have a higher chance of not being found because sex trafficking or sexual assault is the #1 unreported crime. Okay. Now I am going to be talking about the programs within Amber Alerts. So the MEC program stands for Missing and Exploited Children, and it basically reduces the number of missing and exploited children's cases. The CVIP program is a program that stands for the Child Victim Identification Program, in which they provide forensic and investigative support to help identify a missing child. So this program has a harder time identifying children who are featured in abusive images. For example, if a child is featured in images, they are more likely to be found by law enforcement faster because they are missing. There's not really a lot of implication that they have changed. Whereas if a child is featured in sexual assault images, then police officers will have a lower chance to finding that child because there is physical attributes to that picture that changes the image of how the child changed and how the child doesn't look like the picture. NIDS NIDS is a national data system which showcases the infrastructure towards child exploitation and identifies high priority suspects. So, I am now going to be tying my policy Amber Alerts to my previous research done, which is children that are trafficked in the foster care system. Okay. Tying it back to my research proposal based on trafficked children in the foster systems, foster youth feel isolated and experience a lack of belonging and connection to a substitute caretaker in a new home environment and continue to untrust so easily. Children also feel trapped by their trafficker, in which child victims will inquire drug addiction, violent relationships, and a lack of support, which increases suicide rates. Some foster parents become negligent towards the children in their temporary care. Amber Alerts have multiple programs that help find missing children. Therefore, Amber Alerts should create a more specific program towards children in the foster care system. The reasoning for a new program for children in the systems is because these children do not have a permanent home. Therefore, they are unable to be tracked, and they have a higher chance to be trafficked unless a social worker does their monthly check-in or is notified sooner. Many foster parents file when a child goes missing in the foster systems. Many parents file them as being runaways, but in reality, they don't know that they're missing. So, to conclude, there should be an Amber Alert specific to children in the foster care systems. And this is my works cited. And that concludes my whole presentation. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope everyone has a good day.